youtube.com/WULFF DEN Podcast.
And there it is. Like nothing ever happened. Thanks for being here, WULFF DEN Podcast. Woo!
Whoa.
Hi, everybody. It's me and him. Hello.
Hey.
We're remote because I have a sore throat. So
It's
suck it
up
up
this time. So, yeah.
You know, I was recording a video today. This week's video is 9 ways to get the most out of your Nintendo Switch 2. Because the most popular video on the channel is 9 ways to get the most out of your Nintendo Switch 1.
Oh, sequel time.
And I rewatched that video in preparation. And I was also sick in that video.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yes. Anyway, hey guys, podcast. I have the Switch 2. It's right here. Yay.
Hey, I don't.
I was hoping that today would be the day that you get to try it, but
yeah, I would have liked that.
How much would you like it?
I mean, enough to, I was thinking about it. Had I been there today, my headphone wouldn't be broken because they literally just broke right before we went to stream.
Everything sucks.
It does. It does. So if you guys could send me about $110, because that's how much it costs to replace Audio Technica MX40s.
I have a million headphones. Just come get some headphones.
If I'm ever allowed back at your house.
Come over, have the Switch, play with it.
Yeah.
Just might not make it home.
Yeah.
All right. Got a lot of things to talk about today. Mostly, I wanted to talk mostly about everyone's experience with the Switch 2 now that it's out and we're learning a lot more about it. But we also have Summer Games Fest was this weekend, and there were a lot of Summer Games Fest announcements.
That was like the big news of the weekend. Like, there was really not a whole lot else to talk about.
Yeah.
Out of Summer's Games Fest, though, was a pretty big news item. Of course, the Xbox handheld. We finally know what it is,
that.
Even though that's been leaking left and right. We now have deets. Yeah.
Leaking like and me on a flare up. Anyway.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Sorensen, thanks for the 42 months. Switch to WULFF Den. Hello, how you doing? Funyuns are tasty, thanks for the 28 months. Scott the Sloth, thanks for the 100 bits. LOL, Will's floppy broken headset is killing me. Haha.
Yeah, it's killing me too, man. I bought these headphones for my father-in-law in 2019. I went back and checked my Amazon history. They were $80. I had to buy them a year later for myself. They were $100, and now if I go on Amazon and get them, they're $110. So the Trump economy is working, folks. There you go.
Well, I hope your headphones get better.
I mean, look, they work. It's just they dangle.
I feel like this is fixable.
No, it is. I need a part, but I'm too lazy to look at what part I need.
Maybe it's a 3D print situation.
Oh,
Rytos in the
Jake,
chat says I can't stop playing MK World. It's addicting. I got over it pretty quickly. It's good. It's a good game. I'm just not a big Mario Kart guy, you know?
They really gotta, because immediately I default to Mortal Kombat. So I think there's a new Mortal Kombat game that I was not aware of.
I also thought that. I also
think there is a new Mortal Kombat game coming out. Stay tuned.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. All right. You're foreshadowing.
Yes.
All right. Let's get into some of the news topics of the day here. I mean, we gotta start off strong with the. Let me hear this. Okay. I want you to tell me why you think, or why this article thinks Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour requires $95 worth of accessories. I feel like this is not true.
Requires $95 worth of accessories to get 100% completion.
Yeah.
That's the important bit you left out.
I still feel like this is not true, but let's see.
Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour is available alongside the new console and offers a selection of mini games and experiences designed to show off the new hardware. but this also includes mini games designed to showcase the Switch 2 camera and the extra GL and GR buttons that are not found on the standard Switch 2 Joy-Cons, and instead require either the charging grip or the Pro controller, which of course are sold separately. Also, you'll need a 4K TV in case you don't already have one of those, or were planning to only play your Switch 2 in handheld mode. These experiences are skippable, and the game actually tells you a cheat code to move past them so you can progress further throughout the game, so that progress isn't blocked. But using this method only gives you a silver medal for skipped experiences rather than the game's top tier gold award. And of course, you miss out on actually playing whatever you've skipped. So again, to play everything and get 100% completion, you need to buy accessories. This means that Switch 2 Welcome Tour owners who want to see absolutely everything will not only need to pay for the game, that's $10, but also $55 for the Switch 2 camera, and either $40 for a charging grip or $85 for a Pro controller to access the GL and GR buttons.
So the GL and GR buttons, you're screwed. You gotta get a controller.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
A camera, you should be able to use any old camera.
You should be able to use any old camera, but people might not have a USB-C camera lying around. They might not have a capture card to plug in their current camera into the thing.
You could do USB-A. You could do a USB-A camera.
Well, you could do a USB-A camera, but like there's still uncertainty of what kind of cameras work with the Switch 2.
It's basically every webcam.
Most people are going to think they need an official Switch 2 camera in order to use on their Switch 2.
And for those people, can wait till Thursday when I post my video. But you probably definitely need the GL/GR buttons, which you can only get on the back of the charge grip or the Pro controller. Right. That's unfortunate. That means you can't 100% the game without buying accessories. But it is Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. It's to show you all the stuff that your Switch can do. So I don't know how upset I am about the game having features that require other accessories, because it's designed to show you everything that the Switch can do. So it having compatibility with other accessories, I think it is fine.
There are crazy people who will try to 100% complete it and speed run it. They 100% complete like Astro's Playroom, the demo of the PlayStation 5. So yeah, for those people, it's kind of upsetting, and I'm not saying this is going to set a precedent where you need like $100 worth of accessories to complete future games, but Nintendo already set the precedent of $80 games. So what's to say Activision is going to see this and be like, yeah, if you want to complete Tony Hawk's 3 and 4 100%, you got to buy the skateboard peripheral. We're bringing that back.
Yeah. The language of saying that to 100% complete this, you need to spend money. It's a game that is trying to show you all of the hardware that's possible. So like I guess you just have to go into it knowing that this is not a game to 100%, unless you have everything.
Why make those challenges count towards gold medals?
Well, what else do? You just have nothing? You just achieve nothing for doing those challenges?
Yeah, I mean, because otherwise, not everybody's going to get them. The whole point of like having it.
It's not like on a PlayStation where you get a platinum trophy. Like if it was a PlayStation game, then I would understand. Like, don't give the platinum trophy before these missions. Like you make these missions optional towards the platinum, but give me something for doing these missions.
Yeah, like the whole thing is like. Those are supposed to be challenges that are accessible to everyone, and now you are explicitly locking them out because they don't have the money to go and buy your expensive gear. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like this is an unfair gameplay tactic, even though call it what you will, whether or not it's a game or a tech demo or whatever. It's an unfair advantage that some players have, and gaming is nothing but learning the wrong lessons from the most successful people. So look out. Next Halo game is going to require Kinect. They're bringing that back. You heard it here first.
I'm just saying, suck it up. You can't 100% a game that you probably shouldn't buy anyway, because it's $10 for a stupid tech demo. It's not even like a great game.
Yeah.
There is also a mini game in the game, which I guess the article mentions that you need a 4K TV. It says 4K, but really, actually, yeah, you do need a 4K TV for at least one of the mini games. You need a 120 hertz display for one of the mini games. I guess you could do that on the Switch 2 tablet. You could just do it in portable mode. So never mind.
Yeah, that one you can do on the tablet, but you can't do the 4K one on the tablet.
So the one 4K minigame that I played, I have not gone through all of the game, but the one 4K minigame that I played was you play through the original Super Mario Brothers
Right.
in pixel perfect scaling. So the game is like this big on a 4K TV. So you could probably still do it on a 1080p TV. It would just be way harder. You would be looking at blobs. Anyway. So that is Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Need to buy a bunch of accessories. Look out. I haven't bought any accessories. I bought the Pro Controller, and that's it. And the Pro Controller,
you were able to find the Pro Controller.
I found it immediately. It was I bought it at Best Buy. The Pro Controller is sick. I like the Pro Controller a lot. It's the thumbsticks are like light years better than the old thumbstick. Otherwise, it's mostly the same. The D-pad is a little fixed. They fixed the sensitivity on the diagonal inputs. They're a lot less sensitive now. Otherwise, it's mostly the same. It's also the same touchy-feely, like soft matte material that the Joy-Cons are made out of, or are painted on.
Is it still like that translucent black color, or is it solid?
It's solid, and it looks like the Switch 2. Like it's the Switch 2 has a matte, soft touch feel.
Got it.
So this has the same matte soft touch feel. I don't have anything mapped to the back buttons, and I probably won't have anything mapped to them. I don't usually do, unless maybe Call of Duty comes out, then maybe I will. But right now, no, I don't have anything. Otherwise, go on.
Do you think it has that like message inside of it? Thanks to all gamers, or
we got
somebody take it apart and figure that out? Yeah.
Did Spawnwave do his teardown yet?
I did not see.
Would you call him? Do you have?
Okay. No. Yes.
Do you have any questions about the Switch 2 that I could address for you right now?
I'm trying to think. So, ergonomically, would you say, like, how does it feel compared to the Switch 1? I know it's bigger, but like by how much?
Sorry, I went to do a top-down camera and I messed everything up. There we go. Oh God, why does it look so bad? Ergonomically, it is 1,000 times better.
Okay.
Do I have a Switch 1? I don't have a Switch 1 next to me.
I can get my Switch 1. It's hidden.
I don't know where my Switch 1 is, but ergonomically, it's 1,000 times better. My hands are big, so I think that's important for my big meaty hands. But also, the Switch Joy-Con, the Switch 1 Joy-Con, have the smallest buttons Nintendo have ever used.
Yes.
These are a little bit bigger, and it's way nicer. Now, I'm a full-grown adult, so I don't know how it is for children, but I'd imagine it probably scales just fine. I'd imagine children would have a just fine time with it. Also, it feels like the thumbsticks have a similar... No, actually, the Pro Controller is better. But the thumbstick also have like a smooth ring around it.
I'm assuming the thumbsticks on the Joy-Con feel better than the thumbsticks on a Switch 1 Joy-Con?
Yes, definitely.
They're not like those disc things, or...
The disc thing? You mean like the 3DS?
Well, you know how like the Joy-Con 1, they were less like traditional analog sticks and more like kind of like these like swivel disc type things?
Swivel discs.
Because they were flat. You know what I mean?
These come out a little bit more. It's gonna be hard to see.
Okay.
Do I have like a freaking LUT on here or something? Oh, I do. All right, well, that's not much better.
Say, like the Switch 2 is black on your camera.
Yeah. So the thumbsticks definitely come out a lot more. So I mean, and they're big, so it's a lot more comfortable. But they're kind of just the regular joysticks, but bigger.
Okay.
I guess we can address. There's no article about this, right? But there is people getting Joy-Con drift already. Already. And
I didn't hear about that. Yeah.
Well, I immediately wrote them off because I was like, people are just trying to drum up some nonsense. They're like, there's no way. Like, Joy-Con drift by definition is you're wearing down the pads on the inside of the Joy-Con, so you can't possibly be getting drift like this early. You have to wear it unless you're playing the Mario Party mini game and you're going like this, you know. But I think people are just in their heads about it. But I saw a post on Reddit today. It was a video.
The gamer posted it. Yeah.
It was a video of a guy who definitely had Joy-Con drift, and he was in the button calibration. I was like, oh, just calibrate it. But he was in the button, the joystick calibration menu, and he cannot calibrate it. He can't make the joystick go all the way to the right to finish the calibration process. So he was screwed. The joysticks are the same type of potentiometers that are in the original Switch Joy-Con, and they can get drift. Now, just because it's a potentiometer doesn't mean that it's going to have as bad drift problems as the original Switch one, but it has the possibility that could happen. And it looks like at least one guy has had a pretty rough drifting experience. So it could still be a major factor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one guy does not constitute a whole epidemic like last time. This could pretty much just be a factory defect. That said, what a factory defect to have on the first week of release.
It's concerning because it is the first week of release, and having that issue right out of the box, given their past, is scary. Because I'm watching that one video, I was like, this is going to be a problem that's going to continue to happen. I don't know why Nintendo didn't go with different types of sticks. I understand a little bit why they didn't go with Hall effect because of the magnets. The magnets in the Joy-Con might have had something to do with Hall effect, but there's TMR is a different type of joystick that would be better. There's also other type of potentiometer sticks that could just reinforce them so that they're not they don't wear down as easily. So I don't know what went wrong. Anyway,
I mean, Nintendo's also like a stubborn company, so they're probably stuck in their ways of using traditional potentiometer joysticks. Also, too, it's probably cheaper for them because they're all about like doing the most with the least amount of technology.
Yeah.
So that's my theory.
It is a relatively cheap console. Like it's $450 for with no game, but I mean the parts that they used to make this are relatively cheap. The screen is nice and looks nice, but it feels cheap. It's not plastic, it's glass, but it feels plastic. I don't know if you can hear that. That doesn't even sound. It sounds soft. It feels soft. Like it feels like plastic. So there's little things that are nice, like the kickstand is nice and stiff and feels nice. But parts of it feel a little cheap.
Right.
So I understand that they're cutting corners where they can. They always like to try to make a profit on the hardware. So I think that they are. I think people did breakdowns and they're making like a little bit of a profit, but with R&D and everything, I don't know how much of a profit they're doing.
Well, I mean, I didn't put it in the keep, but somebody in the chat did bring it up. Already, the system has sold 3 million units. It's claiming that it is one of, if not the most successful video game system launch in history.
Now,
So,
I saw that, and Dexerto attributed that to Nintendo Prime. Now, where did Nintendo Prime hear that from?
let's see here. It was a tweet, I guess. Can I get the original source? No, he's just talking about Splatoon Raiders.
Junior Moser says, aren't you just tapping the screen's protective layer? Yes, and that is according to Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, the protective layer is tempered glass. So
Okay.
I am touching glass. Somebody tweeted it at me. Otherwise, I didn't believe that it was even glass. I thought it was a plastic layer on top. Anyway, I did see reports that the Switch 2 sold 3 million units in the first weekend. I also am seeing that it's pretty widely available. Pretty much everybody who wanted to get one got one. And if you didn't, I feel like you're not trying hard enough. There were people who walked into the store on Friday and just bought it with their groceries.
Yeah. I know one of my friends wanted it, but he was like hemming and hawing about it. And by the time he was like made up his mind, it was already sold out. But this is like on Sunday.
Yeah, like, all right. So, like, of course. Yeah. I'm sure in like 2 weeks they'll be in stores again.
Yeah, it looks like they're starting to roll things out slowly but surely. Like there doesn't seem to be a supply chain issue like there traditionally is with not just Nintendo systems, but like all video game consoles at launch.
Yeah, I mean, when I was at the midnight launch, there was over 150 people there, maybe potentially 200 people there by the time midnight actually struck. And that's just one store. So, and that's the midnight launch, so that's kind of a lot. That's the biggest midnight launch I've ever been to for anything. So it seemed like there was a lot of hype and it was gonna sell a lot. But the next day, seeing it's still in stores, I was like, did they sell a lot, or did I just see a lot of people, or do they just have enough? So it's hard to tell. But if I'm seeing that they're selling 3 million in the first weekend, that seems to say they had enough for everybody and they're selling a fuck ton. So
yeah. All right, here's the tweet from Nintendo Prime. Okay. I have now heard from 3 independent people that Nintendo have globally shifted 3 million Switch 2 units. This doesn't include any additional sales made today, June 6th, and over the upcoming weekend. For perspective, no console has come close to that level of sales in 24 hours. Over 24 hours after launch, the previous record was held by PS4, which sold just over 1 million units worldwide. The 2-month total record is around 4.5 million units held by the PS5 and the PS4. Nintendo's on pace to beat that in less than a week.
Interesting.
And he shouts out Paul Gale Network, the first person to clue him into this.
Okay. Well, there's a source for you. Yeah. He's not a friggin' industry analyst.
Right. But let's take that at face value. 3 million units in a day. What is that? The lifetime sales of the Steam Deck?
A day? I thought it was the weekend.
A day.
That's great. The first day. The first day.
Yeah.
Okay, that's insane. That is the lifetime of the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What I don't understand is why would you buy a Switch when you can just get a Steam Deck?
I mean, listen, when I go to bed at night, I take my Lenovo Legion Go S with me and I play Death Stranding on it. I'm not playing this in bed. I had this conversation with Hannah before we went to the midnight launch. She was like, what is there to do on a Switch 2? And I was like, there's Mario Kart World. And she's like, who gives a shit about Mario Kart World? I was like, everybody, it's the 5th best-selling game of all time. She's
and that's why she had to come with you.
Yeah. But like, that is all that there is to do on the Switch 2. There's Mario Kart World, and then there's all of the Switch 1 games. So if you are having FOMO that you can't play Mario Kart World, I mean, maybe you're a Mario Kart guy, and that's fine. Like, you want to play Mario Kart. And I understand that. But otherwise, most people are going to wait for there to be some more games. Most people are going to wait till closer to the holidays, and I think that's perfectly reasonable, and I think that I would encourage that, because there really is not that much taking advantage of all of the hardware that we have here.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're did you get Cyberpunk?
I did get Cyberpunk, yes.
All right. How does that compare? Have you tried to compare it to, like... Okay.
But we have that on every console.
Well, maybe you're a hardcore Nintendo guy or girl or in between, and you didn't get to play Cyberpunk when it first came out.
Yeah.
And now it's, all these years later, they finally fixed the damn thing, and they're like, now's the perfect time to play it.
Yeah, so, I understand that. If you don't have any other consoles.
Because there are a lot of people, like 140 million units. For a lot of people, the Switch was their only console. So they did miss out on a lot of like big AAA games that now can finally come to the thing natively. Star Wars Outlaws, Hitman World of Assassination, Cyberpunk, Madden is coming to Switch. Apparently Madden was never on Switch 1.
I didn't realize that.
To me. Yeah, I didn't realize that either.
Yeah, I mean, it is basically a PC handheld, so it's getting... Cyberpunk plays exactly like it does on all of these PC handhelds. It seems to be capped at 40 frames. The frame rate is very steady. The frame rate is nice and crisp. And when I play it on the PC handhelds, it jumps around a lot, but that's usually because I have it uncapped because I'm trying to test it. If I lock it at 40, I'm sure it would be fine. But most people don't want to buy a thing and then mess around with the settings. They just want it to work. So this is like a PC handheld for dummies, or that's a little bit of a cruel way to put it, but like you don't have to fuck around with it. You just get it, and it just plays the game just as good as all of this other stuff.
It's, the classic appeal of a console versus a PC. Do you want to tinker with it, or do you just want to use it right out the gate?
It's exactly that. Yeah. So I guess it's just not that impressive to me because I've experienced all of this already. The impressive part is that it's Nintendo that's doing it. It's a mainstream manufacturer. Now, when this was announced, I was really surprised by the tech that they put in here and how advanced Nintendo was going with this. Now that I have it in my hands, I realized I got a little too excited, and there's a lot of weird like quirks that ended up disappointing me. I talked about it in my video already, but like the mouse and keyboard support and mouse mode and whatever, weird little things. Like another thing that confused me, you remember in the Switch 1 you have the controller configurations where you can remap the controller per game. On the Switch 2, you can't do it per game. It's just universal. So you change the control configuration and it doesn't learn what control configuration you like for different games. It just it's universal. It even says if you have other people playing your Switch 2, tell them you change the controls, because if someone else goes to play your Switch 2, the control configuration will be different.
So you think that's one of those things that like they'll add in later? Like, 'cause sometimes this happened on the Xbox One. There was a feature on 360 that they didn't transfer over, and they had to patch it in later. Well, so do you think that's the case, or?
Definitely. I mean, the control configuration wasn't even a thing when the Switch 1 came out. It was like years later that they added it. But it's just weird. It's like the Switch 1 has it. Why don't they put that on the Switch 2?
Yeah.
I'm almost positive that's exactly how it worked on the Switch 1. No, it learned what game had different controller configuration. And when you go to play another game, it'll say, do you want to change your controller back? It'll warn you. And they don't warn you anymore. It's very weird.
Yeah.
So. The Switch 1 definitely learns what the control configuration is. You guys, now chat's trying to gaslight me.
I mean, I'll be honest, I never used that feature, so I won't
when this podcast is over, I'm gonna grab my Switch 1 and I'm gonna try that. Where is my Switch 1?
In the trash, because you got the Switch 2. You don't need a Switch 1 anymore.
Where could I have put it?
In the trash. What you do when you get the new system, you throw out the old system. or you sell it to GameStop for $20.
I don't see
$30 if you want the points.
I don't see it. Anyway,
If you want the GameStop fun mode.
Any other questions you got about the Switch 2 that you want to know about?
I'm sure I'll have more questions as we go on. I'm trying, because, like, to be honest, you know, all things considered, it really is just the Switch 2. I've played the Switch for the past 8 years. I know what that's all about. I assume the Switch 2 is just that, but shinier. No?
No, it's matte.
Like, is there like anything like significantly, like mind-blowingly different between the two? Mouse control, like, is that really gonna be like the game changer, so to speak?
So I actually really like mouse mode, but nothing supports it right now. Like, there's Fortnite, and it works pretty good in Fortnite, and there's Cyberpunk, and then there's like some other Nintendo games like Nintendo Switch 2, Welcome Tour, and whatever. But we need more. We need more games. Right now, there's just not a lot using the technology. Again, Fortnite mouse mode is awesome, but someone in the chat said, wait, you could plug in a mouse? You can plug in a mouse, but it doesn't work in the home screen, and it only works if the game supports it. So Nobunaka? What's the one that they said would work? We talked about on the show. Nobunaga's Ambition. That game works with mouse mode. I'm sorry, that game works with a USB mouse. You can plug in any USB mouse and it'll just work in the game. But it only works within the game. Cyberpunk, it's not officially supported, but you can plug in a mouse and keyboard. The mouse has major input lag and runs like dog shit. Fortnite, you cannot plug in a mouse and keyboard. You can only use the Joy-Con in mouse mode. So it's up to the developer to add mouse controls.
Okay.
Doesn't it work with Civilization? I believe it does work with Civilization, yes. So I'm excited about mouse mode and all that, but we need more. We need more stuff. Even Fortnite didn't get mouse controls until like 3 days after the Switch came out, or mouse mode. So wait till Metroid comes out. That'll be a game to buy the Switch 2 with, I think.
Okay. Have you tried Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom with the upgrades?
I tried it for 2 seconds. That was one of the first things I did when I got the Switch.
Is it the game that was supposed to be at launch, or is it just the same game?
It's the same game. It just runs at 60 frames. I only booted it up because I was trying to get a game to run at 120 frames per second. And that was stupid of me because that game was never advertised as being 120 frames per second. So I cut it from the video because it was just me complaining about why it's not 120. But the game is impressive. It's 4K 60. It looks really nice. It's very nice. I would also recommend if you have Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, that game seems to run a lot better now. So
okay.
There's a lot of Switch 1 games that get massive improvements, even if they're not advertised. Like Smash Brothers, the load times are a lot quicker. So those are some reasons to get the Switch 2.
Running on more powerful hardware, of course it's going to run better. You know, I don't think that's the surprise. You know, I think it's what they do with the more powerful hardware. Like, there's a difference between a stable frame rate and an increased frame rate.
Honestly, a stable frame rate is worth the better hardware, in my opinion. In a lot of these games, even just going up to 1080p and having a stable frame rate is worth a couple $100. In a year from now, I don't know, because I think this thing will be outdated extremely quickly.
Right.
But I mean, I'm enjoying what I have here. I'm enjoying the hardware. I'm sitting here waiting for more games to take advantage of this better hardware.
Yeah. Anyway. So that'll probably be like towards the end of the year. We'll see like the first real like Switch 2 showpiece game. You know.
Yeah, I think Metroid will be one of them.
Metroid was made for Switch 1 at first.
It was, but 120 frames, mouse mode. True. That's like exactly what I want. Those two things together in a game sound fucking awesome. Sonic's LM in the YouTube chat with €2. DK Bonanza should have been a launch game. I think Mario Kart is a fine launch game. I just personally don't really care about Mario Kart that much. I am excited for DK Bonanza. I also don't think that's like a great game to show off the hardware, because that game is going to have a frame rate that's all over the place. Because it's got destructive environments, so when you start destructing the environment, it starts to jump around a lot.
Unless that's the gimmick, they found a way to make it stable.
Maybe
July 17th is when that game comes out.
Yeah, so that's pretty soon. I that's 5 weeks from now, I think. So
yeah,
again, like, there's not a lot on the Switch right now, but it'll start to roll out. And most people who are going to be Nintendo Switch 2 owners don't own it right now. They will own it eventually, you know?
Right.
We got a bunch of notifications here. I don't remember where I left off. Ethel, 67 months. Speaking of what cameras work for the Switch 2, Bob, you should figure out how to get the Game Boy camera to work with it.
There you go.
That would be analog pocket, HD in the dock, HDMI out to a Genki capture card. There you go.
You have your assignment.
Actually, wait, no, even better than that. The mod Retro Chromatic has a mode where it shows up as a USB webcam.
Okay.
So you could just do that. I'll try that. Professor Rock PR, thanks for gifting a sub. _ thanks for resubscribing to 87 months. Jesus Christ. Dalinu, thanks for the Prime. Willow, thanks for the 100 bits. Fuck you. No, fuck you, buddy. Holy Pearl, thanks for the Prime. H3, thanks for gifting 1 billion subs. And Anonymous, thanks for gifting a sub to Rye Toast YouTube. Thank you. Anyway, where else should we talk about? Top selling games on the Switch 2 at launch. Let me guess. Number 1 is Mario Kart World. Did I win?
Yes. These are the as per the eShop top selling games. So yes, number 1 is Mario Kart World. Do you want to guess what number 2 is?
I wouldn't have guessed that, but I saw it already.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Yes.
Tears of the Kingdom upgrade pack. So I'm assuming that just means regular Tears of the the Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition.
I'll add a note here. When I booted up my Switch 2, I had to go into the eShop and then go into like the Nintendo Switch Online portion and then go to Tears of the Kingdom upgrade pack. I'm not sure how to do it otherwise. Like if I went to the Tears of the Kingdom upgrade pack, would it let me buy it even though I have Nintendo Switch Online?
I don't know, because I remember having an issue on Switch 1 with the Mario Kart 8 courses. I couldn't just go to the eShop and get them. I had to like confirm it through Switch Online for some weird way.
But it wouldn't let you buy them with real money, right?
Correct. No, it would.
That's what I'm saying. I think a lot of people might have bought this without realizing that they could have just gotten it for free.
Right.
That's upsetting.
Yeah.
To be clear, it's Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack that gets you these features, these DLCs. Anyway, number 3, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. I guess because it's cheap.
Yeah, why not? That's the top selling download only game. So
I guess people are searching Nintendo Switch 2, and that comes right up.
I mean, like, also too, like, it's $10. It's not gonna. I mean, you already spent like $500 on the system. It's not gonna break the bank. Just a little bit more, just for like a quick demo. It really should have been a packing game. Hashtag Reggie was right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Number 4 is Deltarune, which I find interesting.
I thought that wasn't out.
I know Undertale's like a big deal, but like I didn't think it was that big of a deal to put it ahead of like some of these other games.
Oh, it did come out.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I mean, I'm not gonna play it, but that's a big deal game.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk is 5th? Okay.
5th best-selling Switch. Oh, again, like that's a showpiece game. You know, that's got all the hype around it.
Yeah.
It's a game that was notoriously didn't work at launch, and now it works on essentially a cell phone. So
yeah.
So that's number 5. Breath of the Wild is number 6. Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD remaster.
I'm sure they're very happy about that.
Number 8, Fantasy Life: The Girl Who Steals Time. Never heard of that game before.
I heard of it because Fried Biscuits was playing it, and I took a picture of it on my phone. I was like, "What the fuck is this guy playing?"
Yeah. Number 9, Street Fighter 6 Years 1 and 2.
That's interesting as well.
That's very interesting. I mean, I guess like Street Fighter, it's the number 1 name in fighting games. Might as well pick that up on your first day. But that is interesting because could this make the Switch 2 a home for traditional fighting games?
Yes.
Because right now, like, the PlayStation is that mostly because Sony owns Evo.
I think the Switch 2 is such I mean, fighting games don't require a lot of system resources. I mean, Street Fighter 6 does because they went to town on it. But I mean, with Smash Brothers on the Switch 2, also the portability of it, being able to just plug a friggin' fight stick right into it, it's a great place for fighting games. Even people were plugging fight sticks into Steam Decks. So
yeah.
Also, a little sneak peek. Working on a little thing.
Ooh.
So it's a great idea to put Street Fighter 6 on it. And number 10 is Fast Fusion.
Fast Fusion.
I think that this just shows that third parties are really important. And I mean, there's not a lot of Switch first parties that are dedicated to the Switch 2 that aren't on the Switch 1 already. So these are some games that aren't on the Switch 1, like these third parties, like Cyberpunk and Street Fighter. Like, they are not on the Switch 1, so people are interested to see how well they do in this portable form factor. And imagine a lot of people who bought this thing have never touched a Steam Deck in their lives, so they don't know what it's like to play these really high-powered games portably.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so
any interesting things in the eShop only, in the download only? Not really.
No, Fast Fusion, Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remaster.
Nobunaga's Ambition is number 8.
Yeah. Arcade Archives 2 Ridge Racer. That's
weird.
I'm surprised that Arcade Archives is like in the top 10.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Oh, we got one last Switch 2 news.
Yeah. What is it? Oh,
say goodbye to streaming apps on the Switch 2. This is interesting because I wanted to pull up YouTube on this thing. Can I not do that?
Well, it's interesting. Okay, so original story. No, hold on. I'm all messed up. Okay. Ahead of Nintendo Switch 2's launch on June 5th, players are keeping an eye on Nintendo's compatibility page, which lists how many games have been tested for compatibility with the new console. As of May 27th, the vast majority of Nintendo's own games and its third-party games will be playable on Switch 2. But what's not making the leap are streaming apps like Crunchyroll and Hulu, as well as the comics reader InkyPen. These apps are not compatible with the Switch 2, and it's not immediately clear if new versions are in development. Since that story went live, Google has confirmed that they are working on a Switch 2 version of YouTube.
Oh, YouTube
so at least one app is getting an update, but unknown if the others are. Probably not.
These people probably never got a dev kit.
Yeah.
So here's YouTube. It says I have purchased it, but it will not let me click on it. Error code. Yeah. I got an error code.
So, you know what's interesting? The Hulu app on PlayStation 5 is the PS4 version of Hulu. Every other entertainment app on the system is the PS5 version.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think
just give me the Switch 1 version. Who cares?
I think in terms of like streaming apps, like
oh wait, I got in.
I don't know if like the developers care enough to do an upgraded version for Switch 2. I mean, Netflix never came to Switch 1, and Netflix will put their stupid thing on any device that's compatible. So for that not to happen, it says to me at least that streaming what never took off on Switch.
So YouTube, I got YouTube on here, and it's acting like a virtual game cart.
Interesting.
It's saying it's already on here.
Huh.
So it would be, oh, there it is.
Where is it?
Download. I am downloading the Switch 1 version of YouTube. We'll see how this goes.
Okay.
Because I like to put my title screen on here, when I film it and stuff. So yeah. I just assumed I would be able to do that. I didn't know that YouTube it doesn't have a Switch 2 version of the app.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Google saw enough people were using the YouTube app on Switch to warrant an update, but does that mean are enough people watching Twitch on Switch to update that app?
I think a lot of people use these handhelds to watch videos. So
yeah,
couldn't start the software. Visit
it would have been the perfect device.
Visit this website for more information. No YouTube. Rip. So now what am I gonna do?
You gotta wait for the official one to roll out.
Damn. How am I gonna get my friggin' so there is a way to get a web browser on here. You gotta do some tomfoolery to the DNS settings of your router, and it'll open a web browser of some kind and let you mess around.
Is that when you go to a public Wi-Fi and it boots up a web page?
It's like an exploit that utilizes that to let you then go to any website you want, basically. But I bet it's not gonna play it. It's not gonna let you play a video.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, all right. Well, I guess that's all the Switch 2 stuff. We gotta talk about all of the other announcements that happened in the past week. But
yeah, Summer Games Fest. Before
we get into that, though, backlog. I don't know why I gotta set it up so I could hear it. Hey guys, Backlog, everybody.
It's Backlog time. Backlog is a segment of WULFF DEN Podcast where we go through our entire video game collection of 983 games. Bob's got to add a Switch 2 games, but as of right now, it's 983 games, and we gotta pick one at random to talk about it, regardless of whether or not we've played it.
825 is what you're pulling.
825, and that brings us to Dead Rising for Xbox 360.
Okay, I definitely did not play this at all.
I do not like this game.
Really?
I saying this in the camera. Yes, and I am mad at all the video games journalists who said that this was a good game, one of the best games on the Xbox 360. It is not. You are liars. I hate you.
So how long after the game came out did you play it?
It was before Dead Rising 2 came out. I know that.
So that's not that long.
Not that long. Those of you who don't know, Dead Rising, the original, was released around the launch of the Xbox 360. It's a Capcom game. You play as Frank West, journalist. He's been to wars, He's trapped in a mall with a bunch of other survivors. It's infested with zombies, and he has 3 days to basically survive, complete tasks, and get out of the mall. I found the game, the big gimmick of the game is that it's just a lot of zombies on screen at once, and you find all these interesting and creative ways to take out the zombies. You see on screen, you get the Mega Man Buster Cannon.
He's using this pretty early in the game. I thought this was like an Easter egg.
Well, the thing about Dead Rising is that it loops. So the 3 days and then the game's over, but then you go back and you do the whole thing again.
Okay, so is it like a roguelike?
Kinda. Because there's definitely tasks that you cannot complete on your first run. Okay. Mostly because the companion AI is dog shit. Like
Okay.
they don't cooperate, they don't listen. They get stuck behind walls. They get stuck within, the world geometry. They walk right into the zombie hordes when you're trying to like get them as far away as possible. That's like the biggest frustration. Another frustration is, they put things on opposite ends of the map, but you got like a limited window to complete them. So like you got to choose, do you do this or do you do that? And then when you go back and play it again, you still got to like choose which one to do. And like to 100%, you got to do both at the same time. You have was one character, Otis, who calls you on the walkie-talkie all the time. And when you talk to him on the walkie-talkie, we talk to anybody on the walkie-talkie, you basically tiptoe because you're trying to listen to him.
You can't do two things at once.
You can't do two things at once. And the worst part about it is when you walk through a door talking to Otis, he'll call you back and yell at you for hanging up. And then you got to like start tiptoeing again. And that's really frustrating when you tiptoe into a room infested with zombies.
I was watching this guy's gameplay and it looked like he was bad at the game, but maybe that's just how the game is.
Yeah, no, the game's it's unintuitive, it's clunky, it's I don't understand why this got so much attention at launch when it came out. I'm guessing maybe just because the amount of zombies on screen was really impressive at the time, but it just like nothing about it appealed to me. The boss battles were kind of fun. There were some fun boss battles with some like really like out there characters and stuff. But like other than that, like kind of just like, believe it or not, at the time I just wanted them to put out Resident Evil 5. Because that would have been the zombie game I would have wanted on 360.
It has an 85 on Metacritic, which is pretty decent. Yeah. I think what made this such a cultural success was the story. People seem to really like the characters and the silliness of it.
Yeah. No, people really took to Frank West specifically, so much so that when he came back and did Dead Rising 4, people like lost their minds. They made a version of Dead Rising 2 specifically with Frank West in it because he was not the original main character of that game.
Isn't this just a movie? What movie is this? This is just the plot of a movie.
That's another thing too. Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead, greatest zombie movie of all time, famously takes place in a mall infested with zombies. They had to put on the box of Dead Rising, not affiliated with George A. Romero or the movie Dawn of the Dead. So
that's the first thing I think of when I see this.
Yeah, I think that's the first thing a lot of people thought of when they saw it. And this is like, I think 2 years after the Zack Snyder remake. So Dawn of the Dead was like fresh in everybody's mind.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now a video game that essentially lets you play out that scenario, sign me up. Edward Bova in the chats, wasn't there a prequel on the Wii? No, that wasn't a prequel. That was the whole game. They ported the game to Wii. I forgot what the subtitle was, but the conceit was there were less zombies on screen.
That must make the game a lot easier.
It made the game easier, and it implemented Resident Evil 4 style aiming controls for the pistols. So that made aiming a lot easier. It basically made the game easier.
Oh, wow.
Probably less frustrating. So play the Wii version if you must. They recently remastered it. It's called Dead Rising Deluxe Remastered DRDR. I don't know how much better or worse that is compared to the original game. All I know is I feel like a fool because, like you showed, 85 on Metacritic. It got good reviews. People were saying it was a great game. Then I come along and my dumbass plays it. I'm like, no, this isn't good. Like, this is a dumb, clunky mess. I didn't make it through like my first playthrough initially because I was just getting so frustrated with it.
So the Wii version is called Dead Rising Chop Till You Drop. And it has a 61. That is so much worse.
Again, probably because reviewers like to do things where, like, because it's missing a feature instantly, that means it's like a significantly worse experience.
I mean, it is a pared down version of the game.
Right. but it's a pared down version that, quite honestly, makes the game a little bit more playable.
I mean, if the main draw to this game was how many zombies are on screen, they're removing that. So if that's probably the thing that reviewers were most excited about, and now that's gone. So I understand. I mean, at the time, that was a big deal, having a lot of NPCs on screen. Now we don't care that we've had games with so many more than that.
Yeah.
I never played it, I think because you hated it so much.
Yeah, I genuinely
you got it, you played it, and it didn't even look that good to me anyway. So you playing it and then being like, this game sucks, I was like, I'm not even gonna bother.
Yeah. I do not like this game. I would not recommend this game. Allegedly 2 and 3 are very good. Allegedly, like, this is one of those things where like the first one just turned me off entirely, so I have no desire to go back, like, try it in the other ones. But maybe you'll have better luck with them. So yeah, that's it. That's my opinion of Dead Rising for the 360. Frank West is cool, and like the boss characters were kind of fun. I like the one guy who just screams, "This is my star!" He was funny, but yeah, no. Sorry, but no. That's a no for me, dog.
Thanks for watching the Backlog, everybody. We're gonna keep doing our podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Slime, next to the 100 bits. I just tested button remapping. The original method has not changed. What has changed is with the GL and GR buttons. Those mappings are per game. The only thing that has changed with button mapping is you can add it to the quick menu so you can change the mapping on the fly. So I knew that. I need to go back and test it on the original Switch because I remember it would yell at you if you went to go play another game. It would say, you still have the buttons remapped. Are you sure you want to play this other game without remapping the buttons? And I'm pretty sure if you go into a game where you previously had the buttons remapped, it would be like, do you want to remap the buttons again for this game? I'm almost positive. So I got to go back to the Switch 1 and try that. And then I'm banning you if I'm right. Rakis, thanks for the 2 months. Hey, Will, can I give a game fact? It is a game fact that... Hold on. Game fact. It is a game fact that I answered correctly waiting in line at GameStop for the midnight launch of the Switch 2 and won a stupid prize. Oh, I thought you were going to give the game fact.
Well, give us the game fact
if you could say something, just say the thing. Because now we have to wait.
Quick. Give us the game fact. What does it translate to? Oh, I know this.
What does Nintendo translate to?
Do you know what it translates to? Because I know.
I don't know.
It's leave luck to heaven.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so 1800s.
Well, yeah. Am I right, Flo? Yep, there it is. I'm so smart.
I did not know that. How do you feel about the HDR? So the HDR on the Switch 2 is good. It looks nice on the tablet, but HDR on versus HDR off, there really isn't a huge difference. It's not like it is on like the Switch OLED or the Steam Deck OLED. The HDR is a slight boost in contrast, but I wouldn't say it's anything like hugely remarkable. Anyway, moving on, let's talk about the Xbox handheld. Everybody wants to talk about that.
Yes. This was announced as part of their Summer Games Fest showcase. Xbox and Asus have combined their strength and technical expertise to introduce something entirely new: the ROG Xbox Ally and the ROG Xbox Ally X.
Great names.
These handhelds are built to make it easier than ever to access your favorite games from Xbox, Battle.net, and other leading PC storefronts, all from a single device. They only own the rights to Xbox and Battle.net. That's why they only named those. This holiday, with Asus, players can discover another way to play as we combine the power of Xbox with the freedom you'd expect from Windows. And this is only the beginning. The ROG Xbox Ally is the essential handheld at a great value for everyone from the casual player to the avid enthusiast. The ROG Xbox Ally X is the ultimate high-performance handheld built for the most demanding players. Both handhelds allow players to play natively via the cloud or remotely with their Xbox console in another room. With the Xbox Ally and the Xbox Ally X, players can look forward to an approachable gaming experience that travels with you wherever you go, featuring several new and first-of-their-kind features on both devices. From an immersive Xbox full-screen experience, an aggregated gaming library with access to install games from leading PC storefronts, and more. This is the big one.
Okay.
All right. No, go ahead.
I was going to just summarize everything, but if there's a big one, give me the big one.
Windows 11 has been optimized to make it easy to use on the Xbox Ally and Xbox Ally X from the moment you power it on. Game Bar makes it easy to return home, browse your library, launch or quit games, chat with friends, open apps, adjust settings, and more. Now, with the integration of ASUS's innovative Armory Crate, Game Bar also gives you streamlined access to advanced device and input controls. Details like the lock screen and task switcher have also been adjusted for easy navigation with a controller. Because these handhelds run Windows, you have access to games that you can't get anywhere else, so you can enjoy the full freedom and versatility of a gaming PC, download games from your favorite storefront, run apps like Discord, watch your favorite streamers on Twitch, and play with your favorite mods, all straight from the Xbox experience. The choice is yours.
So a lot of this was rumored already. We knew there were going to be two. What was our consensus? Did we think that the one of them was going to be Steam, or did we think they were both going to be Windows?
We both were going to be Windows. We thought the white one was going to be a regular ROG Ally, not an Xbox branded one.
Oh, okay. That's what it was. Okay. So that's wrong. They're both Xbox.
Yeah.
Well, didn't I remember I had some insider information? I forgot what the insider information was.
Your insider information was that they were both branded Xboxes.
Oh, that was right. I was.
Yeah.
Okay, because I remember there was some rumors that the white one was going to be a Steam OS thing because it had similar hardware to a Steam Deck. Well, here it is. They're both Xboxes. The white one is the cheaper one. It's got the equivalent of a Z2 regular. It's like the Z2 regular processor, and then the black one has the Z2 Extreme processor. Better processor. It's only got 24 gigabytes of RAM, which is the same as the Ally X currently.
The regular Ally has 16 gigs of RAM.
Right, and the Ally X has the 24. Same amount as the original Ally X, which is 24 gigabytes. Okay. But it's got the better processor, so it is better than the current Ally X. But none of that is really impressive or important. The most impressive thing is Windows is changing for gaming. So you will just load this thing up and it will load into an Xbox environment that doesn't have the desktop running behind it, and it's got less processes running. So it will be essentially SteamOS, but a Windows version of SteamOS. So that is very, very cool.
When you power on your Xbox Ally, you'll be booted directly into Xbox full screen experience, a new feature optimized explicitly for handheld games.
Yeah, so
this is what we've been wanting since these handheld PCs have been coming out.
Yes, it's not just opening an overlay, it's not just opening the Xbox app, it's straight up a completely different environment. Similar to how SteamOS works. And if you want to go to the desktop, you then have to like click some buttons and then load into the desktop, which is very, very, very cool. We don't really know what that looks like. I suspect that this image is what it's going to look like, but there's no footage of it at all. There's just like screenshots and stuff.
There's a behind the scenes video that I did not watch.
I did watch it. It does not show it. Outside of like what we see in these screenshots. There are people who got to get their hands on it. Why I wasn't invited is beyond me.
It's because you took a picture of yourself flipping off the camera dressed as Master Chief.
Okay. It was Mario, but close. So people got their hands on it, and they got to use the Xbox, the new Xbox environment, or at least they got to see it. Like, they were showing it behind closed doors, but they couldn't post it in videos and stuff. And it seems to be exactly that. It seems to be the SteamOS version of Windows. So that's the coolest thing. That's all we've ever wanted. And what's more than that is other manufacturers will be able to utilize this. So right now it's just Asus, but Asus has their own hardware, and they have their Armory crate, and they have like the controls of how to like control the processor and the lights and all of that, and the hardware. Right now it's Armory crate. You press a button, it opens up Armory crate, and you can change like the TDP level, you can change the lighting, you can configure the controllers or whatever you need to do on the hardware level. That interface is built into the Xbox the Xbox environment now. So when you click on that Armory crate button, there's like a tab that is like the manufacturer's. It's for the manufacturer to like put shit there. So Asus will be able to put their Armory crate there. MSI will put their little bullshit there. Lenovo will put their bullshit there. So they built this environment with other manufacturers in mind. So it's cool. This is like exactly what we wanted to see. Yeah. No word on price though. We have no idea.
No word on price. No word on release other than like later this year. No word on pre-orders. Yeah. Another thing that I think is important to bring up is that while this is branded Xbox, this is not like an Xbox console. This is a Windows PC running an Xbox skin. And I think that has confused some people. It's made certain things unclear. So this is not an Xbox Series X in handheld form. This is a Windows PC with an Xbox skin on it. It's going to do everything a Windows PC can.
So I think that's by design. I think that the next version of... Yeah, it's confusing right now for sure. But the next version of home consoles for Xbox are going to end up just being PCs. And there will be some parity between like past Xbox games and the PC stuff. I'd imagine they're going to have some ways to play actual Xbox games on the computer. Right now, you can do that, but it's got to be like first-party games. So,
but like not all first-party games, because I don't think Halo 5 Guardians is available everywhere. Gears 4 is not available everywhere.
So they did. I remember hearing them say that future Xbox games or first-party games will be playable. Like they'll be playable on PC, basically.
But they have to, they still have like the backwards compatibility issue. Crimson Skies can be playable on an original Xbox, a 360, an Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. Is it going to be playable on a future Xbox handheld? Like that's something they got to look into.
I'd imagine they're not going to have 100% compatibility, but I'd imagine that they're trying to work on something that would make it so that your Series X games will work on PC eventually. What else was there that I wanted to say about this? We don't know price. Hopefully it's subsidized a little bit. I think there was a rumor that they canceled the official Xbox handheld.
It was delayed. They're putting that on hold to focus on this one right now.
Well, I heard that. So we knew that it was delayed, but I heard that it might have been just completely canceled.
I didn't hear canceled. I heard on hold.
Okay. Well,
so like it's not in active development. It's been paused.
I think this is looking like I know it's not the official Xbox handheld, but it's marketed that way on purpose. I think that they're going hard on
because
the branding
now everything's an Xbox.
Yeah.
So including this thing.
I do think it's ugly. I really don't like the way that it looks. I don't like it is basically an Ally just with these big ugly grips on the sides.
Yeah, is like that going to be the only like real differentiator between an Ally and the Xbox Ally? Is the grips?
I don't know why. I don't know in what world they looked at a PlayStation Portal and was like, yeah, we need to do that. Nobody liked the way that the PlayStation Portal looked.
They don't like the way it looks, but you know, the thing is like how it handles. Like, is this a more comfortable? I was reading an article on The Verge, and the writer said that even though it is very heavy, it was very comfortable to hold and was very comfortable to play with.
So they did change the triggers. The triggers on the original Ally, I believe, are not analog, and these are no. I think they added. I think they are analog, but I think they added HD rumble or whatever to the triggers that wasn't there originally. Right. So they're trying to make this like an Xbox. Oh yeah, baby. So that's fine. I'd rather it be more portable. But again, the most exciting thing here is just the Xbox environment, and we'll probably be seeing that in other handhelds. I will get my hands on this as soon as I can, because I'm excited to try it out. So that was the most exciting thing from all of Summer Games Fest. But there's some other stuff. What do we want to do? You want to run through all this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I had them in an, it was the State of Play first, which was technically part of the Summer Games Fest, even though Sony was like trying to sneak it in before.
Well, I changed the order of everything because we just talked about Xbox, so let's keep talking about Xbox.
All right, let's do that. I figure we'll just run through the list, and if we see a game we want to like highlight, we'll go into more detail.
Okay.
Like there were some cool game announcements, I'm not gonna lie. Like some things got me excited.
I wasn't really paying much attention like at all, so I might be
I was like
surprised here.
Like most of this is like me going back through the list of like all the releases. This I actually did watch live, and it actually upset me. This was Xbox's one more thing. It was Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
That also upset me.
Sorry.
I was also watching it live, and they made a big stink about this. And yeah, I think most people were upset because everyone knows Call of Duty's happening. We don't need that to be the secret one more thing. It's not a secret.
And I thought it was this was like this cool new like IP. It was future cyberpunk setting almost. But no, it's just another fucking Call of Duty.
It does not look like Call of Duty at all.
It doesn't. And like that's another thing. What even is Call of Duty anymore? Like what is? Like, somebody tell me what it is. Is it just a first-person shooter? Because like Call of Duty used to mean something. Like and now like it's just whatever first-person shooter Activision makes is a Call of Duty game, regardless of whether or not like it adheres to what is supposed to be, part of the series.
Yeah, like, am I supposed to know who that guy is? Like, I know who Mason is.
Yeah,
but like, am I supposed to know that that's the main guy from Call of Duty Black Ops?
Yeah, he's the main guy from Black Ops 2.
Yeah, am I supposed to know that though? Like until they say Mason, or was that the big reveal? Like looking at his face, am I supposed to know that this is Call of Duty?
No, by looking at his face, you're supposed to recognize that's TV's Milo Ventimiglia.
I was honest. I think a lot of people were disappointed when the title screen came up.
Yeah,
like it looked like this interesting thing, and I was like, "What is this?" They're saying it's like a big IP that's supposed to be like synonymous with Xbox, and then all of a sudden it's Call of Duty.
I mean, they're technically right, but it hasn't been synonymous with Xbox since the 360.
I was honestly expecting Halo.
Yeah. Phil Spencer like teased Halo for next year, the 25th anniversary of Xbox, but nope, Call of Duty. And another thing too, like we just got a Black Ops game. Like the one thing Call of Duty had going for it was that like every year it was going to be a different game, a different experience. Now we're just getting the same game again.
Yeah, we definitely don't need this right now.
Yeah.
All right, what else?
And all right, one more thing.
Okay.
Phil Spencer has said, and like people at Activision have said, like once the Microsoft deal was done and stuff, they would take a break from Call of Duty because Call of Duty needs a break. that was a lie.
Yeah,
Clearly.
this is the time. I mean, maybe this will be the last one for a bit, but
Maybe.
I don't know if they'll do that.
Probably not. Probably not. They got to recoup that $70 billion acquisition somehow.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Now moving on. Extended look at the steampunk RPG Clockwork Revolution. Cool. Gears of War Reloaded, new trailer, multiplayer beta announced. That will be available on all platforms, including PS5.
Nice.
That's interesting. Yeah.
We like that.
Yep. Grounded 2 is headed to Games Preview and Steam Early Access July 29th. Keeper was revealed. It's a Double Fine production game. So that's
interesting.
Yes.
What was the last Double Fine game?
Psychonauts 2.
Okay, that was a while ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is cool. This is interesting.
Yeah. Ninja Gaiden 4 trailer comes out October 21st.
This game also looks sick. I haven't played like a 3D Ninja Gaiden game in a really long time, but this interests me for sure.
It does look rad. The Outer Worlds 2 that got an official like deep dive after the show. So for those of you like that, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 showed Bam Margera. He's back. He cleaned up enough to be in the game. So did Michelangelo. Finally, I'm so glad he kicked his habit so he can be in the game as well. Michelangelo of the Ninja Turtles for you kids out there. And they announced that the demo is available if you pre-order the game.
That is dumb.
Which sucks.
That sucks a lot.
I was all ready to download the demo, and then it's like, you got to pre-order the game first. I don't want to do that. Just give me the demo.
Yeah. I mean, the demo used to come with, like, it was like a demo disc. You get, like, the whole first map.
You should just get. Yeah. All right. Next up is a bunch of world premieres.
Every fucking thing was a world premiere.
Yeah. But these are, like, first time you're seeing them stuff, I think. Anemo, not to be confused with Amiibo. Alpheon. At Fate's End.
Anemo looks pretty cool.
Yeah. At Fate's End is from the team that brought you Spiritfarer, which I know a lot of people really liked. Game Freak.
That does look cool.
Revealed the game. Beast of Reincarnation. Yes, that Game Freak. The people who can't seem to get Pokemon right.
Yeah, this looks crazy because this looks, I mean,
I know.
This does not look like a Game Freak game, like at all.
No. I feel like there's definitely somebody at Game Freak who like pleaded and begs, like, we have to do something different. We need a break from this shit.
Every once in a while they pull a wacky, but this looks like a big AAA wacky.
Yeah. Maybe this is what they need. Maybe they need to like do something like this, get it out of their system so they can work on the thing that actually makes them money.
Yeah, this looks like it'll be actually good and technically impressive.
Blood of the Dawnwalker reveal. Chronos, the New Dawn, a new survival horror game from Blooper Team. Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate is coming to Xbox.
Yay.
Finally. Final Fantasy 16 is available now on Xbox. I did not realize that was not a multi-platform game.
Yeah, I always forget that. That's PlayStation exclusive.
But that Square Enix like was losing money, so then they're like, okay, we got to start making platform. We can't do this anymore. High on Life 2 coming to Game Pass this winter. It's cool to see that's getting a sequel.
Is there just a new voice actor?
I think so. And there must be, right?
Yeah. I mean, it looks cool.
Yeah. Invincible versus a 3-3 tag team fighting game based on the comic book series and television show Invincible.
This is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look great. It looks very like choppy and slow.
I was waiting to hear what you said about it, but yeah, this does not look good. I mean, I'd imagine it's choppy. Only the characters are choppy. The environments aren't choppy, and I think it's supposed to give an animated look like Dragon Ball Fighter Z, but it's all 3D.
Fighter Z doesn't look like that though.
Right.
Fighter Z like has some fluidity to it.
Well, there's some Dragon Ball fighting games that look like the cartoon. They look exactly like the cartoon. This doesn't look like it's trying to look like the cartoon, other than that the characters are choppy.
And the voice actors are all from the cartoon.
Yeah, and the environments don't look interesting, like, at all. This is a very strange thing.
I mean, I think an Invincible fighting game is a good idea. I just don't know if this is the execution for it.
I don't know how much of a good idea this is. This reminds me of like the anime fighting games where they just kind of just throw an IP into a fighting game and hope it does good. Because who cares about anybody other than Invincible and Omni-Man? like that you have all the whole thing about fighting games is this cast of characters. And I know there's a lot of characters in Invincible, but who cares about any of them?
I don't know. Next up is Wu-Tang Two Hearts, a cinematic tactical adventure arriving in 2026.
Okay.
Persona 4 Revival. There's a remake of Persona 4 coming to Xbox. Planet of Lana 2 is also coming.
Oh, I played a little bit of the demo of the first one. I didn't know they were making a second one. That's cool.
Well, now they are. Renaissance: A Plague Tale Legacy. This is a spin-off game from the A Plague's Tale series. A series that I've heard is very good. Have not played.
That's cool.
Solo Leveling: Arise Overdrive. A lot of my friends are into solo leveling, so
I hear good things about solo leveling.
Super Meat Boy 3D. This looks interesting.
Yes, that's got my attention. I'm a big Super Meat Boy fan. I like the first one. I even like the second one that came out that nobody liked. This is 3D. I don't know how it looks. Like, it looks like it plays like a Mario game, but obviously the maps are insanely complex and they look impossible. But hopefully it feels solid. You know, like, part of the reason Super Meat Boy 1 is so good is because the platforming feels so good. So I don't know how well that will translate to 3D, but I hope.
How do you translate like a level design like that's so precise and so reliant on accuracy into like 3D where so much more can go wrong?
It kind of looks a lot like Mario 3D World in the way that the levels are designed. They're like confined. It's not like an open situation.
Yeah, it looks like an open situation here.
It looks extremely linear, which is fine. That's how Super Meat Boy should be. There does seem to be some sort of mechanic where there's a bunch of Meat Boys on screen at once. Maybe they're like ghost players, or maybe you're racing them in some way.
That's another thing too. Like, I was wondering that because in Super Meat Boy, the original, at the end of every level, it would show you your run, and it would just show all the different Meat Boys.
Oh, that's probably what it is.
So, is that multiplayer, or is that like your past attempts?
No, you're right. It's probably the past attempts, because my concern there was, how do you know who you're playing as? But if it's all your past attempts, that makes sense because you're not actually playing. So I am very hyped for that. I think that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. And it'll be on Game Pass day one. There are no ghosts at the Grand. No idea what that is. And then a bunch of DLC and updates for existing games, like Age of Mythology Retold is getting an update. Elder Scrolls Online features the return of the Worm Cult.
People were not happy about this because they thought it was Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah. Fallout 76 is getting a fishing update.
Okay.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, the Order of the Giants DLC coming September 4th. This is good because I bought the deluxe edition and was wondering when I would get this.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That game is so good, man. And I'm curious because this DLC takes place in Rome, and I wonder if that means it's going to reuse the Vatican City map, or is it going to be a brand new map?
I mean, hopefully brand new. If it's a whole DLC.
So I'm excited about that. Sea of Thieves Season 17 was announced. 17, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's it. That's it for Xbox.
I heard Xbox had the best showcase.
People really liked Xbox's showcase up until Call of Duty.
My standouts are just, I mean, Game Freak having a game is pretty crazy. Super Meat Boy 3D. I was not expecting that. And what's it called? The Ally, the new Ally.
Yeah, the Ally, Super Meat Boy. I was a little overexcited to see Michelangelo Antonio. Order of the Giants, I'm happy about. Ninja Gaiden looks good as well. Yeah, no, I think best showing, I don't know, but they definitely had a really good showing.
Okay. Real quick, Keith Koba, thanks for the 46 months. Should I get a Switch 2 or a Sega Master System? Sega Master System is probably cheaper.
Yeah.
Caleb Fox, thanks for the 33 months. Now let's plow through the state of play here.
Okay, Astrobot is getting DLC, and they're going to re-release the controller. For those of you who didn't get it,
Okay.
Baby Steps, a new game.
This game looks kind. Oh, I gotta put my friggin' birthday in. Never mind. That game looks pretty funny. This is what's his name? The guy who did QWOP and
oh yeah.
That guy, Bennett Foddy. This is a Bennett Foddy game, I think. Right? Yeah. Am I crazy?
I think you're right.
It looks funny.
Yeah. Bloodstained, the Scarlet Engagement, the next chapter in the Bloodstained series.
I did not see this.
No,
I like Bloodstained.
Yeah.
So this is cool. Oh, it's like a weird. Is it 3D or is it 2D? Oh, it's 2D. Okay.
It's 2.5D. Your favorite.
My favorite. Yeah. No, it looks cool. That's cool. Okay.
Yeah. Carrion, Survival Climber, coming to PS5 November 5th.
This game looks weird. You're climbing up a mountain, but you control each of their limbs. It looks like, but it's like a narrative story. So it's bizarre looking.
Digimon Story Time Stranger was announced.
People love Digimon games, so that's cool.
Oh yeah. Everybody's Golf Hot Shot is coming back later this year, and it'll have Pac-Man in it.
Whoa.
Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles. I don't know if this is a new game in the series or if it's just a remake of the PlayStation game.
Okay.
I think it's just a remake of the PlayStation game. Ghosts of Yotai. It was announced that it was going to get another state of play dedicated to just Ghosts of Yotai.
Okay.
But it showed off some new mechanics there.
I might actually play this. This looks pretty good.
Yeah. Hirogami is an origami-inspired 3D action platformer.
This looks pretty cool. I'm liking a lot of games here. This is the first time I've liked more than like 2 games at a state of play. So.
007 First Light. This is IO Interactive James Bond game that they've been working on. This game looks rad.
So this looks really good. It does kind of just look like Hitman.
It does give off big Hitman vibes,
which is fine because I think if anybody is gonna make a James Bond game, it should kind of just be a Hitman game.
Yeah. Well, I will say this: the movement does look more fluid and flexible than Hitman. Hitman is very stiff in its combat. Not that that's a bad thing. It kind of works for Hitman, but with James Bond, if you're going to be like a little faster, if you're going to be doing like bigger moves, like
it's got to be an action movie.
Yeah, and I think they seem to have like weaved that in very well into what they're showing. Even if we got Zoomer Bond as your star.
It looks cool. I'm interested.
I'm excited for that. Luminous Arise. It's the return of the Luminous games. Looks fun. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. This is the PlayStation Studios and Arc System Works 2D Marvel fighting game. This is basically Capcom doesn't know how to make Marvel fighting games anymore, so someone else is going to do it.
Yeah, this looks really good as a Marvel fighting game. This looks really cool, and I think is it 4v4?
It's 3v3.
3v3. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I think so. Not anymore.
They show it at the end with how many? I think it's 4. I think it's 4.
Oh wow.
They didn't show many characters. They only showed like 8 characters total.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to have a lot of characters in it at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you're going to be able to pick 4 of them. It visually looks really cool. It looks kind of anime.
It's anime as fuck.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad that they're taking Marvel fighting games away from Capcom. I guess it makes a little bit of sense because, like, in Marvel's eyes, in Marvel's eyes, they're if they make it with Capcom kind of wants to be in it. Like, they want Capcom characters in it. But Marvel's like, we can do it ourselves. Nobody cares about your Capcom characters. I care because I think it's cool, but they could do it on their own. And I think this looked cool.
Unrelated but tangentially related, Hasbro just revealed new Marvel Legends figures, and they're based on Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but they don't have the rights to Street Fighter or any of the Capcom characters, so they can't say they're based on Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Did I see that? I saw Wolverine and Silver Samurai.
Yeah, it's part of that series.
Okay. Yeah, it looked really cool.
Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, another look at the game. Konami's going to have their own conference for just Konami games coming soon, so that'll have more of Metal Gear Delta and Silent Hill F. How much more of Metal Gear Delta can you show?
This was the Wolverine and Silver Samurai. I just found it in passing on Twitter. Yeah, I'm interested in Metal Gear Delta for sure, but
yeah, me too. But
I'm not even interested to watch this. I just want it. Just give it to me already.
August 28th.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat: The Legacy Collection. This is from Digital Eclipse, and it is a collection of the arcade Mortal Kombat games and their home console ports. So this is very interesting because Warner Brothers, the property owners of Mortal Kombat, famously do not care about the series history. They just want the new games to come out. And now here comes along Digital Eclipse, who have been putting out just banger compilations. The Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection, Atari 50, and they're just putting together high quality museum pieces basically for these collections, with documentaries and artwork and whatnot. So this is exciting. This is very exciting.
Okay. Next, Ninja Gaiden. This is another one that I'm excited about.
Yes, this is Ragebound. This is the 2D side-scrolling game
made by the Blasphemous people.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I love Blasphemous, so this is really cool.
Yeah. Neo 3, the Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja Souls-like game. The third game in that series was revealed. PlayStation Plus will be getting the classic Resident Evil 2 and 3, the PlayStation versions added to their collection, along with Deus Ex, the original Deus Ex. So that's fun. Pragmata, I forgot this game existed. Apparently this was revealed at the launch of the PlayStation 5.
I remember this trailer and I remember being a little interested in it because it just looked so weird. Now I'm not sure. Someone brought up that this is a Mega Man game because apparently she shoots something out of her arm. There seems to be some items that are energy packs and stuff like in Mega Man. She's got a blue sweater or blue thing on. So there's some tells that this might be a Mega Man game.
I mean, it's rated M.
Or it's at the very least Mega Man inspired.
Yeah, Delphi Corporation, that's not in Mega Man. Can you imagine though if at the end it's just Pragmata and then the letters rearranged as something or other?
Well, it might be just a lot of nods to Mega Man,
right?
Not
or
overtly Mega Man.
At the end, you find out her name is Roll or some shit.
Yeah.
Next up, Project Defiant was revealed to be a fight stick for the PlayStation 5, made by Sony.
This is interesting. I like fight sticks, so it's cool to see an official Sony one.
Yeah, it's wireless, or you can use it wired. It is usable on the PS5 and PC.
So I don't know how. So there you go. I don't know how customizable it'll be. I don't know how much it's going to be. It's probably going to be $1 million.
Yeah.
So One thing about fight sticks is if you want it to work on PlayStation, they usually cost a lot more because there's some weird proprietary nonsense that PlayStation does. So this is probably going to be expensive, but comparatively, it might not be that bad.
Coming months will show more details, including its actual name and a launch date. Okay. Right now, it's just called Project Defiant. Oh, it comes with a carrying case.
It better, because it's going to be like $400.
Yeah. So you can bring it to Evo, which is also owned by Sony.
If it is $400, that's as much as a PlayStation 5. So
yes,
that's crazy.
Romeo is Dead, the latest game from Suda51 and Grasshopper Manufacturer.
Romeo is a dead man.
Oh, sorry.
This looks like a Suda51 game.
Yes. And Sea of Remnants, action RPG. Silent Hill F, coming September 25th. Looks like a Silent Hill game. Silent Hill's back, confirmed.
Oh, I thought this was Silent Hill. Yeah, I was watching this and then I didn't get to the end. Okay.
Yeah. Sword of the Sea. Giant Squid is bringing its enthralling mythic surfing adventure to the PS5.
There's a lot of games where you snowboard on the sand.
Sandboarding.
Yeah, and this is another one of those games.
Yeah.
It's a weird genre that popped up like a year ago, but it looks cool.
Yeah. Thief VR, Legacy of Shadow. It's a new game in the Thief series.
That's great.
That series has not been good for a long time. And Tides of Tomorrow, a new asynchronous multiplayer oceanic adventure coming next year.
Okay. I'm not a PlayStation guy. I got a lot of choice words for PlayStation. This was pretty damn good. There's a lot here
this was a good state of play.
I like Ninja Gaiden. I like the 2 Ninja Gaidens that they had.
Yeah.
Oh no, one of them was on
Xbox. Yeah.
Yeah, but the one I'm more interested in the 2D one, and that was here in the PlayStation. Yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna play Neo 3. Metal Gear Delta, I'm already into. Marvel Token, that looks pretty cool. I'm gonna want to try that.
Yeah. That looks good. I'm very interested in the Mortal Kombat collection, just to see how they handle like transferring over. What else they add? They announced Mortal Kombat's 1 through 4, including all the different versions of Mortal Kombat 3. I'm curious to see if they add like the weird spin-off games or any of the 3D games from the PS2 era.
007 First Light is another one that's kind of a huge deal.
I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Hirogami, I'm a little interested in that. Ghost of Yotei, I mean, we already knew about that though, so that's not that exciting. A lot of people are really interested in Digimon. People went nuts about that. I'm a little interested in Bloodstained. I'm a little interested in Baby Steps. There's a lot here that I'm a little interested in.
Yeah.
So
good showing. Good on you, Sony.
A lot better than I thought. I didn't really look into it at the time, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. And last up, this is the actual Summer Games Fest. This is Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest. So this was the one more thing. Resident Evil 9 is official. It is called Resident Evil Requiem, and it'll be out September 27th next year. This is really funny because in the middle of the show, they had like the developer come up and he said like, "Hi everyone. Sorry, we don't have anything to show for the next Resident Evil game yet. You'll have to wait a little bit longer for that. Stay tuned though." And then cut to the end of the show, fucking Resident Evil Requiem trailer.
Yeah, I know people were really weirded out by that. Supposedly there's you go back to the mansion in this, like the wreckage of the mansion.
Yeah, the trailer shows Raccoon City, like the bombed out Raccoon City. You see the police department, you see the mansion, you see sections of 3. So I'm curious to see like what this game actually is. I think it's a departure from the last 2 games, the first person games. But I don't know what exactly that means. Because like at this point, like Resident Evil could mean anything.
I'm down because I like Resident Evil. I gotta be honest, I'm not like that interested in the first person game.
I mean, 7 was fucking incredible, man.
I know, I gotta get through them, but I'm not. For some reason, nothing's like making me feel like
I have 8, but I've played through the remakes of 2, 3, and 4 more than I have, 7, and I haven't touched 8 yet.
Yeah.
So but this looks really exciting. I can't wait to see what that is. Lies of P Overture available now. It's the prequel expansion to your sexy Pinocchio game.
Okay.
Dying Light, The Beast gets a release date of August 22nd. Wu-Tang, Rise of the Deceiver. Yes, Staten Island's Wu-Tang Clan.
Really?
It's a brand new video game featuring the RZA, the Jizza, Old Dirty, Method Man, Ghostface.
Wait, can you play as them?
And the rest. I think
there's one main character.
Yeah. You and your friends will fight alongside the Wu-Tang Clan, calling on their powerful skills and timeless wisdom to restore Shaolin to become a beacon of hope, community, and prosperity.
There's like 2 seconds of gameplay, but it looks kind of cool.
Yeah. Onimusha, Way of the Sword. It gets a new Summer Games Fest trailer. Looks fun. Game of Thrones War for Westeros lets you pretend you're living at a time when Game of Thrones was still relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Arc, I say that I'm never watching the show. Arc Raiders, Arc Raiders official release date of October 30th. Hitman
people
World
seem
of
to like Arc
Assassination.
Raiders. It's a extraction shooter, but I think people really like it.
Okay. Hitman World of Assassination gets a new elusive target, and it is Mads Mikkelsen reprising his role as Le Chiffre from the movie Casino Royale.
That's crazy.
Yeah. This is definitely them being like, yo, since we have the Bond license, you think we could like borrow a character?
Can we have Mads Mikkelsen?
IO Interactive is Danish. Mads Mikkelsen is Danish. Denmark is a small country, so they probably just went down the road and they're like, hey, you're Mads Mikkelsen, right? Like, yep. You want to be in a video game? Yeah, okay.
Fine.
All right. I'm not in Andor for some reason.
Again? Okay.
I forgot. Oh, this one actually makes sense. I've done this before. Scott Pilgrim EX is a new co-op brawler from original creator Brian Lee O'Malley and Tribute Games. These are the people who worked on the original Scott Pilgrim video game. So, hell yeah. Mortal Shell 2. This was the first game they showed off at Summer Games Fest. Square Enix reveals Killer In, a new team-based social deduction game. Speaking of Mads Mikkelsen, Death Stranding 2 On the Beach got a new story trailer.
I gotta finish the game. I gotta finish the first one.
Wildgate, a space shooter from Moonshot Games, a studio created by former Blizzard creators, is coming July 22nd. Stranger Than Heaven is Ryu Gotaku's official name for Project Century.
Is there anything interesting here? I just scrolled through fast. Looks like there's nothing. Looks like the Summer Games Fest announcements not that great.
Well, no. Sonic Racing Crossworld is going to get Ichiban from the Yakuza games.
Wow.
And the Joker. Not
I did see the Joker. I did see somebody
the
freak out about that on TikTok.
Joker. Ill looks. Have you seen the trailer for Ill?
No.
That looks fucking horrifying, man. It's like
Ill?
a first-person, it's first-person survival horror shooter with dismemberment mechanics. It looks genuinely terrifying.
Oh, this is it. Mysterious, haunting body horror game, Ill. Okay. I don't want to watch it. Friggin' IGN makes you play ads, so I don't want to watch it on here.
All right, well, check out the trailer for it. It's actually very creepy, and I would love to play it. I cannot play it because I live in a house with 2 small children.
I'm not into body horror. Am I old? Like I don't need gore in my life.
No, like body horror is like you got to know what you're doing in order to do that really well. Like The Substance was really good. Anytime David Cronenberg does body horror, it's excellent. You have to know what you're doing, otherwise it just looks like you're being gross.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's Summer Games Fest.
Okay.
I mean, I like what we saw out of Xbox and PlayStation. there were rumors that we were going to get a Nintendo Direct this week. It's still possible that we get it next week. Nintendo should have. So I would imagine they want some breathing room because everybody's still excited about getting their brand new handheld. But people who got the handheld, they need some things to look forward to. They did drop a trailer for a brand new Splatoon spin-off game today on Twitter. Yeah. So that was interesting. Maybe we'll see some more stuff soon, but maybe it'll drop it on Twitter. Maybe they did that because they didn't want to spend too much time on that in a full direct that might come soon. I don't know.
Yeah, that might be them like buying a little bit of time before like they're ready to do like a full Nintendo Direct.
Right. Okay, 2 more quick things of news. We got limited run games on why what is this? The Switch 2 games don't work, right?
Why? Yeah, their titles are having issues on Switch 2.
Okay.
Over the past few days, there have been a few notices posted online regarding limited run games such as Tomba Special Edition and Clock Tower Rewind, which aren't currently running properly on the Switch 2. And both feature on Nintendo's list of games with issues. Clock Tower appears to have audio problems, while Tomba is faring a little worse. As it turns out, a specific line of code has been causing the issue, according to Limited Run Games founder Josh Fairhurst. According to Nintendo Life's sister site, Time Extension, who reached out to Fairhurst, who has addressed the situation, saying that they had very little time with the console pre-release to deal with a troubleshooting bug. Quote from Josh Fairhurst. The backwards compatibility issue derives from a line of code that is used for video playback on the original Switch. We have reported the line of code to Nintendo and are hoping to see it addressed as an update to the Switch 2's backwards compatibility in the future, as I believe this line of code is also causing compatibility issues with games from other publishers. We were accepted as Switch 2 publishers and developers in mid-May and received our development hardware 2 weeks ago. We started digging into the issue the minute we got our kits and found the line of code causing the problem after a few days of investigation. I wanted to include this article in here, not so much because the limited run games are having issues, but because it's a clearer insight as to when some of these developers and publishers got dev kits. He's saying that they didn't get them until May.
It's easy to clown on limited run games because they have had issues in the past, but this doesn't seem to be specifically their fault. They would have had no idea that their games have issues on the Switch 2 because they never got it. No one was getting dev kits. They have to get a Switch 2 just like everybody else and then test their game. And Nintendo is pretty slow at approving the updates for games. So they found the issue. It seems to be pretty quickly, but they have to push the update out, and Nintendo has to approve the update, and they're slow at that. So, and I'd imagine everybody's trying to update their games right now.
Yeah, and the fact that Nintendo was so stingy with dev kits, the fact that like they didn't hand them out to some people until a month before system launch, like that's insane. Yeah. Like, of course they're not going to have their games ready, at launch.
Yeah, they could have handled that a little better.
Yeah. It just makes you wonder who else didn't get their dev kits until it was too late.
Breaking news, literally 1 minute ago. Garrison just posted this in the Twitch. Nintendo has officially confirmed 3.5 million units worldwide in the first 4 days.
Wow.
Fastest selling Nintendo hardware ever globally. That's crazy. So that's confirmed. So 3 million in 1 day, possibly, but 3.5 over the 4 days. So
yeah.
Anyway, last news: Nintendo delays the Zelda movie. I didn't even know it had a date.
Well, we got the tweet, and of course it starts off with, "This is Miyamoto. For production reasons, we are changing the release date of the live-action film of The Legend of Zelda to May 7th, 2027. It will be some weeks later than the release timing we originally announced, and we will take the extra time to make the film as good as it can be. Thank you for your patience."
Okay, that's fine. I don't even think about, before I see a trailer, I don't even think about these things.
Yeah, this movie is not real until like there is a trailer for it. Even when they cast it, it's not going to be a real thing.
Right. All right. Now it's time.
Tweet of the week. Tweet of the week. Tweet of the week.
So this is actually how I learned about the Marvel fighting game. I saw this tweet. It's from Sonic Fox, and it's a meme of
I've seen that, yeah.
Marvel getting into some relations with Arc System Works, and it says, "Are you sure?" Yeah. And then Capcom is in the cuck chair, and it says yes. So this is how I saw this, and I was like, "Oh, is there a new Marvel fighting game?" And then I looked into it, and I was like, "Oh shit, there is." So interesting way for that news to break to me. Now we will talk to you guys.
Yes. Start with people who left comments on last week's WULFF Den Podcast over on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/WULFF Den Podcast.
This is gonna break the stream a little bit while I pull up last week's comments. From JC and then a bunch of numbers. As a consumer, it's not lost on me how long something has been out and how much time someone has had with a thing. I love the 1 month later and 6 month later videos. I bet a lot of other viewers pay attention to. Unfortunately, I mean, yes. I mean, they're obviously more informational and you know, they're more informative and people do appreciate those types of videos. However, unfortunately, immediacy is more rewarded. So people are hyped up, and people are only searching for stuff like Switch reviews like right when it comes out. I mean, people will still watch it later, but less people. It'll still be a lot. I mean, the Switch is hugely popular, so there'll still be people watching it, but most of the views are right now, you know. Eric says, fellas, I'm getting married this weekend. No Switch 2 for me, but maybe I'll switch to loving my in-laws.
Aw.
Get it?
Congratulations.
Congrats. That's fucking sick, bro. Tukey says, there really aren't a ton of games like The Witcher because so much of what makes that series and the third one in particular so good is the writing and world building, which no other open world games have matched. Read a book.
Read a book like The Witcher series.
Yeah, if you like the story so much, don't play it. No, I know what you mean. I know that The Witcher is a unique experience. It's a little bit of lightning in a bottle, but the open world aspect of it, when it came out, it was, you know, unique in its own way. But since then, everybody's copied it to death. Mike says, I take my screen protector to a cell phone repair shop and pay them to put it on. Works like a charm and saves me from losing my mind. Just took mine in today. My guy has done it for me for 3 switches now. Such an easy hack. That's not a hack.
Yeah.
You're paying
somebody to do it.
That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But
that works.
Nowadays they do have kits to do it yourself, like the little plastic thing that goes right over it, and it is very easy to do. The Mad Catter says, I'm one of those people, I know we're a rare breed, who buys the Joy-Con charging grip. Looks like they actually put some effort to make it a bit more distinct from the normal grip this time. They added back buttons to it. Bit of an odd choice. Now the line between that and getting a Pro Controller is even more blurred. I honestly, I don't think back buttons are that integral. Like I'm not like that's not a feature that I think is like necessarily like a premium feature, you know? Like I don't, my brain doesn't immediately go, oh, I need to get this one because it has back buttons.
Yeah, like back buttons, like those are just, you know, those are nice to haves. Like they're not like necessities, you know.
Right.
Unless, and I don't want them to be necessities. Like there's too many buttons on a controller as it is.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. We're in the chat right now.
Okay.
Anyway. Here's a question, says Edward Bova. I posted to the Discord. Nintendo has released the Switch 2 aimed at core gamers and capable of running major AAA games with impressive features like DLS. Okay, well, don't give me the whole spec list, please. However, major third-party announcements have largely overlooked the console, reminiscent of the Wii U days. Users are left waiting for possible future Nintendo Directs for updates on late-game ports. Current third-party support includes minimal offerings and lack of exclusives. Okay, that was not a question, but
not a question.
Question remains about why third-party support is lacking. There's a very easy answer. They didn't give out any dev kits. They gave out like barely any dev kits. Even Cyberpunk, like they got their dev kit very late. They just turned it around really quick. So yeah, that's your answer.
When I saw the reveal video, you know, the big this is what the Switch 2 is video. There were a lot of third-party studios announcing games for the Switch 2. You know, you had Cyberpunk, you had Borderlands, you had Madden and FIFA and Ubisoft with the Assassin's Creed and Star Wars Outlaws. Hitman, the World of Assassination is coming, not streaming. So it looks like third-party support for Switch 2 is just as big, if not more so, than it was on Switch 1. Activision confirmed Call of Duty is finally going to come to Switch this year. So, yeah, I disagree. I think you are wrong. I think third-party support is fine. We're going to start to see more big third-party games coming. Like Bob said, it's probably because nobody got dev kits.
I don't think it's reminiscent of the Wii U. I think that we're lacking games that are exclusive for the Switch too, but I think that they're coming, you know?
But really, we're lacking games that are exclusive for every system. Like even the State of Play, half of those games are going to be on PS4.
I shouldn't have said exclusive. I meant unique to the Switch 2 versus the Switch 1. But even then, we'll get them. It's a brand new console. We need time for devs to catch up. Chris Mack sent an article. Hi, Bob. Nintendo acknowledged a battery issue on the Switch 2 already with an extremely convoluted fix or send in for service. So I am talking about this in my video this week. I don't think this is a convoluted fix, but maybe I'm wrong. So there seems to be an issue some people are having where the battery percentage is incorrect. So it'll show the wrong it'll show a lower battery than it actually has. This happens on some devices sometimes. The battery capacity indicator needs to be reconfigured or whatever. Usually this does happen on the Switch 1. And the way to fix it is to just kill the battery all the way and then charge it up again. And then just do that over and over again. So that is one of the ways to fix it and one of the ways Nintendo says to fix it. But the other way, which I think is unique to the Switch 2, is there is a battery recovery mode. I haven't actually gone into it yet, but if you hold volume up and down and press the power button once, it enters like a recovery mode. So I think that that's actually a simple fix compared to the other way, which is kill the battery and charge it all the way again and do that like 6 times, you know? Mm-hmm. Our cousin actually had this issue. He his Switch 1's battery the battery percentage was just going nuts. It was going all over the place. It was changing percentage every second. So I don't know how widespread this issue is. I suspect it's probably not that widespread, but if you do have that issue, there's a battery recovery mode. You could try that. Also note, just because your battery is dying quickly doesn't mean that you have this issue. The battery on the Switch 2 is just bad. It's worse than the battery on the Switch 1. It'll get you like 2 hours playing Mario Kart World. So if your battery dies really quickly, it's most likely just that's how it is. Can we talk about liquid glass or like no? That is about the when I was looking for tweets of the weeks, a lot of it was liquid glass stuff. This is the new design philosophy for the new iOS 26.
Yeah.
They're skipping 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and going right to 26.
They're just naming it after the year, so it's easier for everybody to understand. Blah, blah, blah.
So
yeah, what do you think of liquid glass?
It's not Apple. I think that it's a departure from the clean Apple aesthetic. It's very Frutiger Arrow, like early 2000s design, and I like that. I think it's cool. I like the way that it looks visually, but I don't think it's Apple. I think it's too complex for Apple. It does remind me a little bit of early Apple or early iPhone skeuomorphism, which everyone hated. I think that was a huge miss for Apple's design. Like you don't need to have the digital design to look like a physical thing in real life. Like if I'm going into my files, I don't need it to look like a piece of paper. And I don't need this to mimic glass. Like it looks too complicated. There's some cool things there's some cool interactions that happen. Like I saw a tweet that was like you can bring up like a window behind the dock and it does like a cool like warping effect, and like that's cool. But I think that it's a weird complicated look for Apple to have.
I think it is the sign of a company who wanted to show that they're updating their system but didn't know how to do that. So they're like, let's just change how it looks.
Yeah, it's like they wanted something clean and new and like and like over the top, and they did it, but it again is like a departure from like, the way I would feel. Like Apple is about simplicity, and this adds a complexity that doesn't need to be there.
And it, like you said, it's different from when they changed from skeuomorphism to like the current design, because like that kind of made sense. Like skeuomorphism was like very dated, and they needed to like have like a clean look to everything.
Yeah,
doesn't do that. This like muddies the waters again. And
it's like
makes things hard to read. Yeah,
it seems like they were like, hey, we need a new design philosophy.
We need something to have everybody forget that Apple Intelligence isn't working.
Yeah,
and we don't want to say that Apple Intelligence is.
This seems like a project that is forced. Like somebody was like, your job is to make a new design doc for Apple. And they were just like, all right, this is what they like just approved it. You know, like somebody worked on this for like 10 years and they were like, all right, dude, this is what it's going to be. Instead of being like, is this Apple though? You know?
Yeah. Tim Cook just walked into the designer's office and he, with that folksy accent of his, starting today, you're going to work on a new look for the iOS. My bad, Tim Cook.
Yeah, and they just ran with whatever they made. I think it looks really cool. I don't think it fits Apple the way that I see Apple. Yeah. Apple, to me, is always about simplicity. And this adds a level of complexity on top of it that is just completely unnecessary.
I guess we could. I didn't put it in the key because I didn't think it was interesting. Like the gaming announcements that they had, like
I was a little excited about the Game Center announcement, and there was nothing. They really didn't have anything interesting at all.
Yeah, they're just doing what we've had like for 20 years now at this point. You know, it's nothing exciting, nothing interesting, no like grand like Steam client type infrastructure that would have been ideal. No dedicated support for more AAA games or like similar big titles like to come over to iOS or Mac OS.
Quinn Nelson on Twitter, Snazzy Labs, brought up how everything that they announced was in the Game Center app in the original iOS. Oh, the iPhone 5. Yeah. iOS 5 had a Game Center, and it had the same stuff. Achievements, friends lists, competing against friends, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Also, this was the tweet that I found that showed like a cool little interaction that the new iOS or the new Mac OS has. Oh no, this is I think iPad OS. It looks cool, but again, I think it's like a little over the top.
Yeah. Bless you.
Anyway, I have what is this, iOS 18, and I like how I can make everything like black and white. I'll try I'm not gonna get the beta version of the new iOS, but I'll try the whole like glass look and see how it looks. Anyway, anything else? Do you all think the Switch 2 has power to stream directly from the console? I wonder if it will open up the door for new streamers. Oh, like Twitch straight from it? It will not. However, it does have the power because you can do it in game chat. It's run shitty, but it has the power. There's 3 gigabytes of system information saved just for stuff like that. I gotta blow my nose.
Okay.
I got yelled at for blowing my nose on camera, so now I'm trying to do it off camera. We're going to make iPads like MacBooks. I wish that they just did it. I feel like they're pussyfooting around it. Just make Mac OS on iPad.
I feel like that would be a completely different machine, because iPads can do things that Macs can't, but then Macs can do even more things than iPads.
Just merge them. There's no reason not to do it. Just merge the two.
I don't know. I don't work for Apple. I'm not smart enough to do that.
Anthony Corvini says his Joy-Cons are drifting, and he sent a video. That does seem to be drift. Please tell me you calibrated it, though.
Is it drift, or do you have a Pro controller just off screen?
That's true. Could be that. I want to see you calibrate it and see if it fixes it. Since it's going to the right, I think you might be able to fix it. Kiriako says, speaking of new game releases, Jet Set Radio did a collab with an inline skate company named Them Skates a couple of days ago. You guys think that might mean a new release soon? I mean, yeah, they're making a new one.
Yeah, they're making it's confirmed they're making a new one.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully we get a date for that, because I will be hopping all over that.
Okay. I think I missed Kiriako, thanks for the 23 months. Been a while. I have to keep in mind to use my Prime sub on you, because it's a waste otherwise. Yes, if you have Amazon Prime, you get a free subscription. And go to twitch.tv/WULFFDEN and drop it here. There's no ads if you do that. It gets rid of ads.
Yeah. Also, if you have Amazon Prime, as Holy Lettuce says, to a chance to buy tickets for Superman 3 days early.
Oh.
Special.
When is that?
The movie comes out on July 11th, but if you have Prime, you can buy tickets to see it July 8th.
I got to see that.
Which is Tuesday.
Oh.
It was right in the middle of the show.
Well, that sucks. Big Boosh, thanks for the Prime. Kind of Switch 2 related, but when did Satisfye grips get so expensive? Tariffs. I remember buying one for my OLED for $50 with the case, and the grip for the Switch 2 is $80 after shipping. So it's tariffs, but I think they had issues even before that. They had issues with their supplier, and shipping from China just got like astronomically expensive for them for some reason. I think they took a loss on the first grips that Wood made with them. So yeah, all of that stuff compounded, making Satisfye grips very expensive for some reason. Anyway, that's it. We're done. Thanks for hanging out, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for chatting with us. As always, the WULFF DEN Podcast is every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/WULFF DEN and youtube.com/WULFF DEN Podcast. If you can't make the show for any reason at all, we always put the archive version up over on youtube.com/WULFF DEN Podcast. So you can go and check us out over there on demand whenever you want. If you prefer to listen to us rather than watch us, you can do that as well, because we're also an audio podcast on any and every podcast service, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Audible.com. The list goes on. But no matter where you get the show from, folks, please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us, because that helps us with placement on all of those respective platforms.
I will see you probably on Thursday. I will hopefully have a video up on Thursday. Everything seems to be going good for that. And that's it. Go watch AJ. I'm going to go have some couch time. Goodbye.
Bye.